From a super secret location deep within the mountains of Colorado, it's time to strap up, strap in, or strap on with your host, Shenanigans in One Shot. It's From the Ashes Radio!
Well, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to From the Ashes in 2026. We are live. So, as you can tell, we haven't gotten our new intro yet. But don't you worry. It's coming. It's coming quick. We are in our new location. Where is our new location? You're like, hey, that doesn't look like the super secret location. It's not. Where are we, you're asking? It's a good question. We are in Parkin, Colorado, in the Cat House. That's right. We are in Parker, Colorado's own, our local strip club. That's right. They stuffed us in the basement. You can probably hear all the music and all the cooking and all the other stuff going on upstairs. It's the only place we could find, folks. This is the best we could do. So, yeah, you may hear some stuff going on upstairs. You may hear music. You may hear women. You may hear all kinds of stuff going on upstairs. Don't worry about all that going on up there. We're working with management to keep it as quiet as we can. Some things can't be helped. But, yeah, come for the ladies. Stop in for the radio show. Stay for the radio show. You know how it goes, folks. We're doing the best we can. Hey, this is what we know. We'll deal with what we have. So, but yeah. Anyway, welcome to 2026 From the Ashes Radio. Nothing but good times going on here. It's going to be a hell of a year. Joe just got back from Venezuela. He helped yesterday to liberate a country. He did some good shit yesterday. Well done to you, by the way. I mean, you did a great job. Nice job. Freeing nations and stuff.
A couple hours work.
Yeah, I mean, you did very well. I mean, some of the pictures of you, I mean, with your black sunglasses on your eyes, I mean, you did very, very well. I was impressed. Nice job.
Brought him a Nike jumpsuit.
I like what you did there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a hell of a Christmas vacation, but we are glad to be back on the air. Nothing but good times. In just a little while, our friend Malachias is going to join us. We are going to talk about veterans in the music industry. He's already in the green room laughing because I fucked up his name already. Just like last time he was on with us, I jacked up his name and I told him, I'm like, look, man, we need to have a phone call before the radio show today. Because I'm telling you, and he even said it to me, he like phonetically typed it out. He's like, this is how it's pronounced. I'm like, all right, I'm going to fuck it up. So when you come on the show, you're going to have to pronounce it for me because I'm going to jack it up. That's all right. He's like, all right, no problem. Got you covered. We got our Carl. There's a few things that we're going to be switching around in just a little while. As the show goes on, you'll see a few changes. We've got a new intro that you're going to see. Obviously, the new studio space is absolutely amazing. We're getting things set up. You're just seeing Joe in here today earlier, trying to connect cords, figuring out what HDMI actually stands for, things like that, trying to plug things in, figure out where goats go, 9-volt batteries, licking them, trying to figure out what they go to. Nothing in this room takes a 9-volt battery. He was trying to figure out how to make them work. Absolutely hysterical. Nothing but good stuff. We will not have Allie tonight. Allie is at an inauguration. She is inaugurating a new mayor, I believe it is, for where she works up in the Massachusetts metro area. So yeah, she won't be with us tonight. But nothing but good stuff. So, hey, I am going to, however, need from you, our listeners, our stuff for the safety brief. This is a new year. All the stuff that you had go on over your Christmas vacation, we're going to need all that. So whatever you had go on over Christmas vacation, New Year's vacation, we're going to need all that stuff for your, for the safety brief as we approach the end of the show. I am going on your show, Nicholas Ron. Hey, so I just got a message from Nicholas Ron, who, if you don't know, what's up? I thought I heard somebody say something. What do you call it? The new studio with all the strippers upstairs and whatnot. We get all kinds of weird noises and stuff. So hey, if I apologize if like I get distracted. What you don't see behind you folks is there's boobies everywhere. I apologize. What do you call it? So Nicholas Ron just sent me a message about the show, things like that. For those of you that don't know, Nicholas Ron was one of the folks on the crew with Row or Die participating in the Talisker Challenge. They were rowing, and I'm going to fuck this all up, but they were rowing across the Atlantic Ocean, I believe it was. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Whoopee. They flipped over a couple of months into the row. They flipped over. They were stuck at sea because I don't know, I'm going to jack this all up. Something happened. Their boat, they were not on the correct course and they were not found.
I believe a storm hit.
Yeah, something like that. They were blown off course. They were not found. They were adrift for several days. They were not recovered. And they were lost at sea for a couple of days. Long story short, this was 3 years ago. Well, the Whoopee, the boat, was just found drifting at sea. For those that don't know. So they are trying to recover the boat now. The boat is now in port in France, I believe, and they have a GoFundMe right now. We've shared it on our page. Please drop $1 or $2 in there. There's going to be a movie to come out. And Joe is going to be throwing that picture up on the screen in just a few minutes here in just a hot second. There's going to be a movie to come out. I believe it's on Netflix or Prime or something like that, all about their experience at sea. Scroll down on our page, find the GoFundMe, drop $1 or $2 in there so that they can get the Whoopee, that boat, back to the United States so it can be reconditioned.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing really, really good things for veterans with Row or Die. It'd be amazing to get that boat back to the United States. I don't know if other veterans are going to get the chance to row along or what the story is going to be there or if it's going to go into a museum or what the plan of attack is. But right now they're trying to get that boat back to the United States for the guys with Row or Die is the ultimate goal right now. That's what we'd like to have happen. So if you could drop $1 or $2 into that GoFundMe, that'd be the ultimate goal. You guys following the news lately? Sounds like our folks with 160th Ranger Bat and Delta have been doing some work, man. Holy heck. They walked into Venezuela, woke up Nicolas Maduro and was like, hey, man, it's time to wake up. We need to take you back with us to New York. Can you imagine, dude? Can you imagine being the PFC on guard duty that night? Fuck, I got night shift again. Standing there, lighting his cigarette, standing there with the dude next to him. Dude, do you hear helicopters? I do hear helicopters. Those poor little PFCs standing there on guard duty. Oh shit.
They ran.
Absolutely.
They ran. Fuck this.
Depending on where you read it and what you read, I have read that they dropped everybody in his guard element. And I heard that they dropped basically everybody in his, like, that wasn't him. Which is kind of fucking awesome if you ask me. So I'm pretty excited about that one. I thought that was pretty badass.
And got him alive. That's the good part.
And brought him back to New York, which I just think is hysterical. So nothing but good stuff to come from it. I just think it's super cool. So yeah. Anyway, here, let's start the show off the way it is meant to be started. Let's start with Never Forgotten. Hey folks, this is some important stuff to us. This is, it's important. It's very important. So here on this show, we remember those that have come before us. Holy shit. I really need to start remembering my glasses when I do this radio show. Cause holy heck, man. Let me blow this up a little bit so I can read it. There we go. All right. Army Staff Sergeant Matthew Q. McClintock, age 30, of Albuquerque, New Mexico, died on January 5th in the Majah district of Afghanistan from wounds suffered when the enemy attacked his unit with small arms fire. He was assigned to 1st Battalion, 19th Special Forces Group Airborne, Washington, National Guard, Buckley. The Defense Department identified the soldier killed Tuesday in Afghanistan. McClintock of Albuquerque, New Mexico, was assigned to 1st Battalion, 19th Special Forces Group in Buckley, Washington. McClintock and his fellow Green Berets from 1st Battalion, Alpha Company, deployed to Afghanistan in July. Joined the Army in 2006 after completing his training. He was assigned to the 1st Cavalry Division, deployed to Iraq in 2007. He was chosen for selection in U.S. Army Special Forces School in 2009. Deployed to Afghanistan from 2012 to 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, when you and your family sit down for dinner, when you put your hands together and you say your family's prayers, please remember Staff Sergeant McClintock, not just Sergeant McClintock, remember his family, that he is no longer with them. Those folks went before us, and they gave their lives in defense of our nation. So please, when you say your prayers tonight, remember Staff Sergeant McClintock and his family, and that they are no longer with us. With that being said, we will always remember their names and those that have gone before us. And that is a very important part of why we do this show. So, yeah, it's important to us, and it's important that we remember those names. Who did you put me on there as Roberto? That's awesome, dude. All right. So, with that being said, we are coming up on that time. Why don't we bring on our guest and see if I'm pretty sure he knows how to pronounce his name correctly. What's up, man? It's good to see you again.
What's up, Roberto?
So when I say your name, I say it Malachias. How do you say
Malachias.
Malachias. See, I've had you on this show. This is like, I believe, your third appearance or your second or third appearance.
I think so, yeah.
And every time you've been on here, I don't think I've said your name correctly a single time. So
I'm so used to it. It's all right. Don't worry. You're not the only one, I promise.
One of these days, I probably won't get it correct. Then
probably not. No,
that's all right, man. I apologize. In the meantime, welcome to From the Ashes on About Face Media. I am very glad you are here. Are we?
I'm happy to be back.
Background voices.
Yeah, it started right when he joined.
Huh? Must be the DJ upstairs, the stripper pole.
Are you on speaker?
No, I'm on my Bluetooth on my hearing aids because I'm deaf.
Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah,
whatever. We'll fuck with it later. I'm not worried about it at all.
All right.
Anyway, man, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being a part of From the Ashes. So
thank you.
When Joe and I sat down in 2025 and we're talking this through, I'm like, hey, in 2026, let's talk to veterans in the blue collar industry, and let's talk to veterans that are making music. And when we talked to veterans making music, your name was the first one to come up. And when I reached out to you, man, you threw yourself on the hand grenade. You were like, absolutely, let's do this, man. Yep. I got a bunch of folks. You were super eager to throw yourself on the hand grenade. And I love that you are excited about doing it. So I'm super glad you are here tonight. And thank you for opening up 2026 with From the Ashes. I'm super glad you're here, dude.
Thanks, brother.
Tell us so for those of our listeners that have never met you before, let's start at the beginning. Tell us about your military journey. Tell us about you joining the United States military and why you decided to join the United States military. Where are you from and what just made you decide to join the military?
So I joined twice. The first time I was a high school dropout with a GED and no one would take me. And so I joined the National Guard and I did 9 years in the Indiana Army National Guard. I made it all the way up to a platoon sergeant. I was in for 9 years. And I joined because it was that family tradition, right? My dad served, my grandpa served, my great grandpa served, all the way back, right? So every male member in my direct family line was a service member. And so I served for 9 years, got out, nothing happened. I was out for 3 years, and during that 3-year time period, I went from, working for my dad's family business to, and being in a band and trying to become a rock star and just doing all the things that I was doing. And then my dad died. And when my dad died, the banks kind of closed us down, took our business from us. And then I went from, 20-year career as a landscaper, owning a restaurant, like all the stuff that we did, to nothing. And we ended up homeless. So I was married with a wife, 3 kids, sleeping on the floor at my mom's house because she had a single wide 2-bedroom trailer that we were using the thermostat and the stove to heat because it was so cold. And so after about a year and a half of living like that, I kind of looked at my wife and was like, I only know 3 things in this life. I know the military, I know music, and I know landscaping. I don't want to cut grass for another grateful person ever again. I love music, but it's not paying the bills. And then, the military is really all I had left. And that was 2005, right? So that's, the beginning of the war and things are going on. And so we kind of knew that there was an opportunity that I was going to end up, if I did join, I was going to deploy. So I joined the Army again because I was homeless. And I wanted to make sure that my wife and my kids had a place to live and that they had food to eat and that we had education and healthcare and all that. And so I re-enlisted active duty, ended up at Fort Stewart, Georgia, for my entire active duty career of 8 years. And did 2 deployments, came home. And the thing was, I did the 15 months for the surge, came home. And then I auditioned for the Army Band and was approved. And so I went to the Army Band at Fort Stewart. And then I went to Iraq again, as an Army bandsman, came home, and then was supposed to go to Afghanistan, and then ended up getting medically retired in 2014.
Okay. So the last time I had you on this show, you had written a book and you were doing something called A Warrior's Garden. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So during my 2.5-year medical retirement board, I had met a guy named Robbie Grayson, who became my publisher and one of my really good friends. But we sat down and he was going to do a documentary on me, on how I was using music as a way to kind of cope with PTSD. And at the last minute, the PAO, which is the Public Affairs Office for the Army, decided that, no, you can't do it. You can't go on film. You can't be on record for interviewing or any of that while you're in a med board. It's against the rules. And so at the last minute, and when I say last minute, it was like on a Wednesday, and they were buying plane tickets on Friday to fly from Nashville down to Fort Stewart. And so I called him, said, hey, man, we got to cancel this. I'm giving you the short version of all of it, of course. We got to cancel. I don't know what to do. I'll call you tomorrow. So I called him the next day, and he's like, dude, you should write a book. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, all the different, because at that point I was doing gardening in my backyard on post. I was writing music with a buddy of mine who I'm still writing with today. And I was trying all this, like, healthy eating and just all this different stuff, trying to get off of all the medications, because I was on like 24 medications. And some of those medications were for the side effects of the other medications, right? So it was just crazy. And so I wrote a book called A Warrior's Garden, and that book is literally just my kind of like a document of my journey of trying to find a holistic way to deal with PTSD. And it's really based on music, gardening, my faith, and those are the 3 key principles, right? With spiritual, creative, and physical. And then it turned into like, recognizing that, we have to thank our spouses for being there and putting up with us, and just all the different things, right? Like all this different stuff, and like learning all these different things. And then, I got out of the Army, and that book it's not a bestseller, of course, but it got known well enough. It's been sold in like 11 countries. And in 2016, while I was an undergraduate at Lipscomb University, the Chinese government paid for me to go to China to speak on using agriculture as a way to mitigate suicide. And I spent I spent like 10 or 11 days in China. I was in Chengdu, Zhejiang, Shanghai, and Beijing.
Really? Well done to you. Very well done to you.
Well, and the crazy part was, while I was there, I met Chinese combat veterans. And I'm like, who the heck are you guys fighting? Like, what are you talking about? And apparently, since 2009, China has been at war with radical Islam in Mali. And so I didn't either. I was blown away. And so when I met, it was funny because like when I met them, it was like I was meeting my own guys here, right? Like we literally started picking on each other and ribbing on each other and making fun of each other, and it was just hilarious. Like my interpreter didn't know what to do because she's like, I've never seen Chinese men talk to each other like this. And I was like, they're veterans, like don't worry. And then we started talking and we started comparing like the differences in healthcare because I wanted to ask them like, how does your VA work? And they're like, what's the VA? And I explained it, like, what? No, we just go to the hospital, and they flash their, military ID, their veteran ID, and they go to the front of every line. And so I asked them a ton of questions, and I ended up writing a second book called A Warrior's Garden the Chinese Way, which is literally just documenting that trip and the things that I learned from them.
No kidding. This is the first I've ever heard it. I didn't realize that. So we have a couple of local veteran centers here in Colorado metro area, Denver metro area. And, after our last interview, I bought, I think like 10 or 12 copies of your book. And every time I walk in the vet center, if the copy of A Warrior's Garden is gone, I replace it. And because they grabbed it. And so, I like to replace it. It means somebody is reading it, which makes me happy. So, warms my heart.
Well, the crazy thing is hold on, I got to think here. 2018 maybe, I went out to Denver and I was at Hemp Fest, and I was there to speak about using CBD for veterans with, chronic pain and PTSD and traumatic brain injury and all that. And I had a guy who, like, I was out walking through the conference, just kind of looking at all the booths and whatnot. And this dude like bobbed, and I kind of caught him out of the corner of my eye, and he was bobbing and weaving his way through the crowd to get to me. And I was like, oh dude, I'm ready to fight. What's up? Cause he's just like, he's coming. Right. And he was like, you're Malachias. And I was like, oh yeah. Well, hi.
Did he say it correctly? Cause it wasn't
Yes,
me.
he did. He actually did. And that's kind of what shocked me too. No, I'm kidding. But no, he was like, you're Malachias. And I was like, yeah. He goes, you're the guy that wrote A Warrior's Garden. And I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, your book saved my life. And I was just like, wait, what? You know what I mean? And like, he just kind of told me like, I didn't know what to do. And I'd been on through all these things. And I didn't know what to do. And I read your book, and it made me think that I just started trying things. And so he tied fly fishing lures.
Mm-hmm.
That was his theory. For him, that was a therapeutic modality, just sitting down and tying lures all day.
Have you ever tied a fly fishing lure?
I have not. I've never gone fly fishing. I've gone fishing, just not fly fishing.
The next time you come to Colorado, I'll fix that for you.
All right.
I don't understand people that can tie fly fishing lures. I don't. I love to fly fish, but the amount of patience it takes to tie those things.
Yeah.
I don't have that level of focus.
I don't have it in me.
Yeah. I'm not. As soon as I start wrapping stuff up, I'm like, oh, look, a light. Yeah.
I'm a squirrel.
It's exactly what happens, dude. I don't have it in me. So people that can do that, good on you. I am not that guy. I'm glad there are people that can do that, but I'm not that guy. What do you call it? Well, I'm glad to hear that. So I'm glad to hear that your books are helping people, and it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. It's a great book. So I have one in my living room and one in my kitchen. So I'm glad to hear it. What do you call it? So then I reach out to you.
Yep.
About music. And you jump on the hand grenade. You're excited about it, and tell us about your musical journey.
So
let's start at the beginning.
The beginning. I'm
assuming you picked up a harmonica at age 5.
No, I was 13. I looked at my dad and I said, "Hey, Dad, I want to learn to play guitar." And my dad said, "No son of mine is going to be a faggot." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so, then 18, I'm getting out of high school, getting my GED, and I went over to a buddy's house and said, I want to start a band. And he was like, what do you want to do? What can you play? I'm like, I can sing. He's like, you can? I'm like, I don't know. Let's do it. And so I just started singing I was in a punk rock band, and I started singing. And this is back in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then, I off and on.
They're punk rock bands.
I mean, they are. They really are. They had in the 80s and early 90s, they had a really huge, or in 70s, 80s, and 90s, they had a huge punk scene, and local band scene. But no, I did. So off and on, I did punk bands, rock bands, country bands, like blues bands. Like I was doing everything because I just wanted to sing. And then it was like, I do it for a year and I stop for a year and do it for a year and stop for a year. And then when my wife and I now got married, which this year will be 24 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She's actually a better singer than I am. Like she's amazing. But when we got married, I was like, I want to start a band. She was like, go for it. And I was like, wait, what? Because every time I'd ever said that in the past, like I want to start a band, I would get the dude, stop. Come on. And so she was the first one that was like, go do it. And so I did. I got on, remember the old school message boards, right? So I got on the message boards and like, hey, I want to start a band. And then the guy chimed in. He's like, I got a bunch of guitar music. And then a bass player chimed in, and then a drummer chimed in, and we all met at a little local Mexican restaurant. And then my first real band was formed called Severance. And we did a lot. Like we played literally all over Indiana, all northern Indiana, mainly Fort Wayne, but we played a lot of the clubs outside of town. And then my wife and I went up to Chicago there was a TV calling for NXS Rockstar. And I auditioned for that. I didn't make it, but they wanted to see the band. And then just things happened. And all of a sudden my guitar player was literally just like, I'm tired of people saying that you sound like Scott Stapp. And kicked me out of the band.
Now, let's ratchet
He gets paid. He gets paid.
And Creed has got a big comeback going on right now.
Oh,
so
they're
hold on.
huge. Yeah.
Let's give them their due right now.
Right. And so I did that. And then, like I said, everything kind of fell apart, and I ended up back on active duty. When I got on active duty and I was in Iraq the first time, they pull you aside and they're like, hey, windows are open. You can re-enlist. Bonuses are on the table. Like, what would it take for you to re-enlist while we're here? Because they're just trying to keep numbers up. Right. And I was like, I just saw a flyer in the chow hall that we have a 3rd Infantry Division band that I didn't know was a thing. And I'd like to go audition to be a rock vocalist, which I didn't even know was a thing. I was hoping, right? I'm just making it up as I went. And they're like, okay, we'll get you an audition, da-da-da. And so that was crazy, but I ended up finally getting the audition because I got canceled like 9 times because they really didn't want me to go do it. And so I went and auditioned, and I got accepted. And then we came home from Iraq, and then I had to fight with my sergeant major to get released to go to the band. Went to the band, and then deployed again to Iraq and did 13 months touring all over northern Iraq, Cobb Spiker, Mosul, Diamondback, Q West, Warrior, Warhorse, Falcon, all that stuff, like everywhere. And just playing music for the troops, right? As soldiers, we're playing for our other soldiers,
What kind of music?
Rock and country. And we were a cover band. You know what I mean? At that point, it was all cover music. And then I got out of the Army, and I came to Tennessee because the goal was
Hang on one second. Hold on. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let's ratchet that back just a little bit. So are you like in uniform, like playing?
Yes.
You're playing in a rock band in uniform?
Yes. And that was my job. And that was my job. Technically, I was a medic, but I was a vocalist for the 3rd Infantry Division rock band.
Wasn't the guitar player for like Nirvana in the Army for a while?
So he was special forces, but he was with Nirvana. If I understand the story right, he was with Nirvana before they got signed, and then he left the band. He was also with Soundgarden. Like, he kind of bounced around from several of those bands. And then he joined the Army and ended up in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he was with special forces for several years. He's retired now.
And yet, so just to clarify, so the dude from Soundgarden and Nirvana is in the Army in SF, out dropping bodies, and here you are up on stage while on active duty playing tunes.
Yep.
That's badass, dude.
It's crazy, man. And then, like I said, I came home, and I was supposed to deploy again with the band to Afghanistan. And that's when it was like, oh, you got PTSD. We're gonna med board you. Long story short, like, we're gonna med board you. And 2.5 years later, my med board was complete because they could not consolidate my National Guard medical records. They couldn't find them.
You're not the first person I've heard say that.
Now, once I figured out that's what was going on, I was like, okay, so what do you need? They said, we need this. I had a buddy who was a sergeant major in the National Guard where I was from. And I just called him in my Pueblo's office. I was like, hey, Sergeant Major, Sergeant Gaskin. He's like, hey, what's up, buddy? I was like, I need my medical records from the Guard. He was like, oh, hold on, let's get on the 3-way. And so he calls historical branch. Lady says, where am I sending them? And I was like, here's my email. She sent them. My phone pinged. I said, all right, thanks. And I hung up, and I looked at my Pueblo and go, where am I sending them? And 2.5 years. Where am I sending them? And so then I retired, came to Tennessee because my publisher set up a lot of things for me. I ended up getting a job, and I was really hoping to get into music while I was there. And I didn't for a long time. I was there for 11 years. And it took me 8 or 9 years to get into music again, because the Army band situation kind of killed music for me for a while, killed my love of it.
The Army can take the fun out of anything. They take the fun out of jumping out of airplanes.
Yep. And so got to Tennessee and did all that stuff. And then I met some people and I was like, hey, I want to write an album. Well, I'll back up a little. I got a hold of a really good friend, JT Cooper, who I'm going to introduce you to. He was in Somalia during Black Hawk Down. He was with 10th Mountain. He's a Purple Heart recipient. He was infantry. He was with the team, the QRF team that went to go get the Rangers and pull them back. And they actually did a documentary on him and his team. It was called The Lost Platoon, where they actually got cut off from everybody during that whole firefight. And so I sat down with him. I was like, hey, I want to write a song based on my book, all the things that I do, called A Warrior's Garden and all that. And he's like, I was waiting for you. Like, you're just not ready. I'm like, all right. So we sat down and we wrote it. And then a couple of weeks later, we got together and recorded it. And then I released it as a single. And it really just kind of rekindled that whole fire. You know what I mean? So I reached out to a buddy of mine, Chris Miller, and was like, hey, I want to write an album. And I did a GoFundMe for like the third time trying to do an album. And the GoFundMe was the first time ever that GoFundMe actually got any money donated. And not only did it get donated, it got filled up within 30 days. At that point I turned it off, because I didn't want extra money. You know what I mean? Like, I just shut it down. And now I wish I would have taken extra money and then promoted it, but I didn't. So then we released the album. The album is called For Those That Remain. And the entire album is the life story of the military veteran from song 1 to the end, right? It starts with a song called Legacy, which is about a young man who wants to join the military. And then you have there's Legacy, and then there's All For You, which is a duet that my wife and I sang together. And then you have Baptized by Fire, which is the first time you get shot at in combat. And then you have Falling Down, which is the first time you see yourself after trauma, after combat. And then you have Wall Size, which my wife wrote way long ago, and I found those lyrics and just decided, I was like, hey, can I use these? And I wrote an original song for her, and then we re-recorded it for the album, because it's a great testament of like the way that others see you, you know, and then the way that there's change and the way that you change throughout, you know. And then you have after Wall Size is Cut Off, which is a song about leaving the military and finding yourself. And then you have, which I wrote for my wife. It was kind of I wrote it for her. And then you have For Those That Remain, which is, it's really just a dedication to everybody who's still standing here, who hasn't taken their life, for everybody who's still standing here, who's a Gold Star family member, for anybody who's lost someone in the military to their injuries or to suicide or to any of it. And then you have A Warrior's Garden, which was the final song on the album. And then now I've kind of went from, that was kind of like a country, Southern rock, hard rock album. I've gone to a whole new, like my buddy Josh and I, who I wrote a couple of songs with on active duty. We have just been like putting out music. Like we have a song called Grind, which was me finding my faith after combat. And then Freedom, which is about the brotherhood of the military. We have a song that we're getting ready to release. Well, we released a song called Stronger Together, which is, it's about basically finding the love of your life. And then, you know, like the three-stranded cord is always a stronger cord, right? So it's like God, you, and your significant other. And then you have, we put out a lot of stuff. And then we've got a song coming out this Friday called Go Time that he wrote the music, I did the lyrics. And then I have a song coming out called Adrenaline, which is about stolen innocence and trying to get it back. And then we have another song coming out together called The Introduction, which is like a Metallica, Megadeth-ish style song. And then I've got another song coming out after that called Rise Above. And then we've got 3 or 4 others in the shoot. Like we're just putting out songs every 2-3 weeks. You know what I mean? So, but it just like, it really just kind of turned into this thing where, go ahead.
Are you comfortable talking about your faith on the radio? I know your faith is a very strong part of what you do.
I'm a Christian rock artist, so it's part of what I do. Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm a messianic artist. Yes, I'm technically a messianic artist, which is I'm Jewish, but I believe in Christ. I believe in Jesus. But I follow more of a Hebraic route to my faith. When I came back from Iraq the second time, I really started leaning into the messianic movement and kind of just reading about it and learning about it, studying it. And just that's where I believe we're supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because Christ didn't say not to observe the feast. He said, don't do it out of a sense of obligation. You know what I mean? Because we're not tied to that anymore. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's a whole like theology thing. But I really just, and that's where my name came from. Because, you know, legally when I was born, my dad named me Ralph Douglas Gaskin II. And after my second deployment, I kind of had this God moment where it was just like, I have a new name for you. And that's where Malachias came from. And so I legally changed it in 2019, I think it was 2019, because I found out that I had a brother that was older than me that had the exact same legal name that my father had thought he murdered when he was a little baby. And so, which whole crazy story. That's its own interview by itself. But so,
Wow.
yeah. So
We'll have that conversation one day.
So since I was already using Malachias as kind of like my author name and my music name and all that, I went ahead and just did the paperwork and I went to court and legally changed it.
Okay.
So, but it's like, yeah, so I'm in the process right now. I'm doing a discipleship program with my church. My pastor and I are talking about, because in my book, I even talk about like my goal one day is to be a pastor. You know, like I'm ordained, but it's not on paper. You know what I mean? It's not a legal ordination type of thing. And so my pastor is actually trying to, like, we're going to set up some stuff like, we're going to talk about setting it up to where he can ordain me through his church.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a whole process to that. So, but yeah, I just
affect your writing as you're writing music.
Yeah, all my new so even in like my older stuff, like Falling Down, I wrote in 2002, 2000 or 2003. It's there. My faith is intertwined in there. The album, most of the songs, my faith is somewhat like you can. It's there. It's not pushy. It's not in your face, but it's there. Now the new music I'm putting out, like the song Adrenaline is, you know, the whole purpose of the song is really based on the concept of the thought process that I'm saved, I'm not soft. You know what I mean? Like you go ahead and test me. It's fine. You may not like what you get on the back end of it, right? Because not every Christian is perfect, right? Rise Above is about overcoming adversity through faith. I've got a song coming out that I wrote a song for Boone Cutler, who tragically passed away last year, called The War Within. And it has the Spartan Pledge built in at the very beginning of the song. And then I have a song called The Chosen, or just called Chosen, sorry, which is based off of 1 Peter 2:9, which is you are a chosen priesthood, a royal generation. And so like every song that's coming on the album was one called Wasted Time and one's going to be called Wake Me Up, but they're all based on a Bible verse. Every song is. But the songs are written in a way where they could be on regular radio and you wouldn't realize it was a Christian song, other than if you listen to the lyrics and you could catch it, right? Because it's not overt, but it's there. Mm. So, and it was funny because like my first album, I even released the first album, For Those That Remain, as a Christian album. And I had a friend of mine who was in the Christian industry call me and say, hey, your music's really, really good. And they're talking about you, but you're never going to get taken serious in the Christian industry because in one song you say, damn, and one song you say pissed off. And I was like, well, that's, yeah, well, I mean, cause like, you know, I'm like, and I thanked him for telling me, but then I was kind of like, you know, dude, like I don't write music for the Christian industry. I write it for real people that are struggling with their faith, that are struggling with their walk, that are struggling with the things they go through. And veterans are some of the most salt of the earth. You know, we're the people out there just getting it done. And so like, they're real. Like, should we be talking the way we talk sometimes? No, you know what I mean? Like, but we do, you know what I mean? And you got to accept people where they are and love them enough to get them to that next step.
Yeah, I think faith and veterans is a whole nother conversation because I think no one struggles with their faith the way veterans do and the things that they have done.
You should reach out to Ron Breland from Warfighter Ranch. So he's got
Ron
Breland, Brealand.
I will give it a look up.
Yep. And then, so Ron's a good one. And then, but musically, like, you know, the whole thing, like when I started releasing the music, like it's like this whole network of I didn't realize it was there, but there's this whole network of veteran musicians. Like I ended up meeting Stephen Cochran, Sal Gonzalez, Chris Turner, Scotty Frazier, there's someone I can't remember everybody's names. Like, and then it's coming. But I sent it to you where I created a Spotify playlist of nothing but veteran artists. Like they had to be military veteran and artists.
And it is a long playlist.
It's 48 hours of music.
Yes,
yeah.
it is. It's been on in my truck since you sent it to me, which has been like 4 days.
Soldier Heart, Sabo. Like there's just so many artists and in so many different genres. Like we feel them all. Like Christian, there's metal, there's hard rock, there's Blackbird Rain, there's like Scotty Frazier, which is like he's got his own genre. He's amazing. It's like a rockabilly ska punk country. Like it is just so good. Like it's so good.
There are so many veterans making music right now.
Oh yeah. And then you get John Preston, which is a pop artist. Yeah, I mean, you got John Preston out in California, who's a pop artist. Like he's a pop rock artist, and he's really, really good. He had a song like in the top 10 on the Billboard charts, I think. He even got nominated for a Grammy. Like it's crazy. And then you've got there's a country artist that just re-enlisted back in the military. I can't remember his name.
Do you listen to the Sean Ryan podcast at all?
Sporadically.
So there was a guy on who, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Head injuries suck. Who was talking? Yeah. He's a Navy SEAL. Strum the guitar and like to write songs once in a while. Somehow got connected with like Winona Judd and wrote a song with Winona Judd. And you're like, dude, how the fuck did that work? How did that connection come together?
We tried to do that.
Went on tour with Winona Judd. And you're like, dude, how? That's awesome. That is so cool. The veteran community is taking over the music space. I love that. And that's because it's real. They're writing from a real space. They're writing from, and the music and all of those feelings are coming out from a very real, raw space. You're hitting nerves. That is why it's tugging on shit that people, it reflects and people want to hear it. That's why. So tell me about that.
No, I agree.
Tell me about that writing process for you. And while you're thinking that through and while you're thinking that answer through, there are people right now that are listening to this with a guitar on their lap or an instrument or sitting behind a drum set right now. They're like, I could do this. Tell us about
I've been a vocalist for 31 years, and I haven't been able to play an instrument up until the last couple of years. The last couple of years, like I fully believe that God just was finally like, okay, it's time. And he opened the door and guitar started making sense. So I've been playing guitar. I've been doing open mic nights. I've been kind of just playing for myself. I wrote a couple songs on guitar that I worked on. So the guy, Josh, that I write with, he's still active duty. He's a sergeant first class. He's a career counselor with Special Forces in Okinawa, Japan. And he and I have been just doing everything together over the last couple of years. And what'll happen is he'll send me a snippet and he'll go, "What do you think of this?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, flesh it out." And then he'll send it and he'll keep tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it. And he'll finally give me something that's workable where I can upload it onto my laptop here, and he'll email it to me from Japan, and I'll upload it onto my laptop, put on my headphones and just listen. And then I'll just listen, and I'll let it speak to me. And then I let the music at that point, I let the track speak to me about, what are you about? And then I just start, I get like a phrase, like the name of the song comes first. And then I just start writing to that. And sometimes it's military focused and a lot of times it's not, you know what I mean? And that's the one thing too, I think that we as veterans, we pigeonhole ourselves because we want to step into an area like music or, acting or whatever, creative arts type stuff. And as soon as people know you as a veteran, right, they only want you to do veteran stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's not to take away from those things, right? Like as a veteran and as a musician, the amount of nonprofits that reach out to you, and I love nonprofits. I run one myself. You know what I mean? Like the amount of them that reach out to you and go, "Hey, can you play our event?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure. What's your entertainment budget?" And they're like, we don't have budgets." It's like, so say what you want to say. You know what I mean? Like ask me to do it for free, which is fine. You can that happens, right? And I you know, I've had this discussion with many artists where it's like we get to that point where we realize that it's like we're at a point in our career where it's like we need to be the one deciding when and where we do the free things and who we do them for, right? But like it's realizing there's a value to your craft, I guess, and value to your art. But sitting down, like literally, I just sit down and I put the headphones on and I just vegetate to it. You know what I mean? It's really what it is. It's just like, what I found, I have a friend I met. She was on America's Got Talent, Grace Askew, and she did a cover of These Boots Are Made for Walking by Nancy Sinatra, and she's like this, like, oh, I can't even explain it. It's Americana, the style of country that she does. She's unreal. And she told me, she was like, one day she's like, you need to write something every single day. Doesn't matter if it's any good. It doesn't matter if it sucks. It doesn't matter if it's the greatest song in the world. You need to write a song every single day. She goes, because the more you do it, the faster and easier it'll get. And it didn't make sense to me until I started doing it, where I sat down, I wrote a song, and then I started recording it. And the next day I wrote a song, I started to record it. I'm like, these things are coming in 15 minutes. Like, I've got a full track. It's already fleshed out, guitar, bass, drums, keys, all the things. And then I just put it on. And next thing you know, I've got the song written, I've recorded it, and I've sent it to my guy. And he's like, this is great. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? But it's like just doing it. You know what I mean? Not being afraid to do it. Just get out there and do it. Go to karaoke. Have fun. You know what I mean? Make a fool of yourself. You know, and just enjoy it.
That's what I keep telling Joe, the producer.
Yeah.
He plays the nose harmonica. And I'm like, you need to go. I'm like, you need to go to open mic night, man. I'm like,
yeah,
you'd be so good at it, dude.
Well,
he does a mean rendition of For Whom the Bells Toll by Metallica on the nose harmonica. You ought to hear it, dude. It's amazing. Maybe if we get lucky, he'll play a little for us before the show ends.
Well, and there's so many organizations out there, like Guitars for Vets and Santa Monica Guitars, and like these programs where they
love Guitars for Vets here.
Oh, I'm a graduate. I'm a graduate of Guitars for Vets.
Love them.
And I was blessed to, like, my teacher that they gave me, his name is Dave McKenzie. This guy is like, he's the name. Like, he's played with everyone. Like, we were in one of my lessons. We got to talk, and he's like, "Who's one of your favorite bands?" And I was like, "My all-time favorite band is Heart." And he was like, "Oh, I opened for them. I opened for them before anybody knew who they were."
Good answer.
Yeah,
really.
Like, I mean, they're amazing. Ian and Nancy Wilson are phenomenal musicians, and they're the children of a Marine Corps veteran. So,
Nancy Wilson is my future ex-wife. I love Nancy Wilson. Oh my goodness. She got very political lately, and I kind of walked away from that. Like, I don't. Oh, I will suffer through it. That's okay. I will do it, man. Did you see Did you see their performance of Stairway to Heaven?
Oh my gosh, dude. I don't even. So I'm gonna upset a lot of people here. I am not a fan of Led Zeppelin at all. But their rendition of that song, the way that they did it, and then it was Stairway to Heaven, and what was the other really big song? I don't remember now, but they played two of theirs. Yeah, it was, but they destroyed it.
Robert Plant's eyes.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
But at that point, it's like it was no longer a Led Zeppelin song; it was theirs.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's how well they did it. It's absolutely how well they did it. So,
all right. So, couple things, because I am absolutely monopolizing your time, and I only have 10 minutes of the show left, and I have a whole lot that I have to get done in that 10-minute time frame. All right. So, first things first. Let's start at the beginning. What do you call it? Safety brief. You've been a part of many safety briefs. Keep in mind that it's Monday night. It's a long week. It's also the first week of 2026. What would you like to add to the safety brief that's going to last the rest of the week, and you'd like it to be remembered for the rest of the year? Keep in mind that we are also broadcasting on WTF Moments, and will probably be rebroadcast on Heroes Media Group. So you've got a big audience.
Oh, Adam Bird. Love the Heroes Media Group. Adam's a very, very close friend.
Great people.
Love him.
No one has supported us more than him in WTF Moments.
So I would say if I was going to give any kind of safety brief message to my brothers and sisters, it would be, because it's a hard one for me to practice as well as to accept, right? Is that you can't expect you from other people. So just because this is the way that you would do it, and to you that's common sense, it may not be to them, right? So the minute when you can get to a point, and again, I still struggle huge with this, right? But when you can get to a point where you can realize that they're not coming at it from your life experiences, they're not coming at it from the way that you would do it, because they would do it a different way, right? Your frustration level with a lot of things that'll be happening around you will lessen, your stress levels will lessen, and you'll be able to communicate a little more effectively because you won't be so stressed out.
That is,
and again, I struggle with that.
To the safety brief we have had in a long time. That's probably one of the better ones we've had. That's right up there with the stripper doesn't love you. That's a really, really good one. Well done to you. You should. Well, I mean, she could learn to love me, but that is yeah.
I'll fix it.
Yeah. Someone was a platoon sergeant at one point. Well done to you. Very well done to you. And I'm not sure if you remember this part. You might. We end every interview with your time to shine. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to stop talking. I may have glossed over a question. I may have missed an opportunity. I may have skipped something that you wanted to talk about that I didn't give you the opportunity to, Boone Cutler. I may have completely skipped something that you wanted to talk about that you wanted to give a few minutes. The next 2 minutes are all yours. I'm going to shut up. The microphone is yours. The next 2 minutes, the airwaves are all yours, bud. Go ahead.
So, like I said earlier this year, a really close friend of mine, Boone Cutler, passed away. Boone was the author of the Spartan Pledge. Boone was an Army veteran. He deployed to Iraq. He was a PSYOPer. After the military, he'd done so many things. He was the model that they used to create PC Principle on South Park. And he'd been in songs with Soldier Heart. He'd been on television. He'd done all these things. And he was a radio DJ. He was just outspoken for veterans' rights, all of that. But he wrote this beautiful thing because we know that nobody's going to save us but us when it comes to suicide prevention. And there's a million different modalities out there. I'm actually certified in like 6 different suicide prevention modalities. But the one that he created, which is probably my favorite one of all of them, is not probably, it is. It's called the Spartan Pledge, and it's 2 sentences. I will not take my own life by my own hand until I talk to my battle buddy first. My mission is to find a mission and help my warfighter family. And so what it is, that first sentence is, I will ask for help. I'm not just going to sit there and just take my life. I will ask for help. And then acknowledging the fact that not everybody can answer the phone every time you pick up the phone, right? So you will wait for that person to get back to you. I will not take my own life by my own hand until I talk to my battle buddy first. So you're going to give them the opportunity or the chance to talk you off that ledge, right? And that if they don't answer, because I'm telling you right now, when I go to bed, my phone goes to silent. I'll call you back tomorrow, okay? And then the second sentence is, my mission is to find a mission and help my warfighter family. So while you are waiting for that return phone call, get up off your duff and go help somebody with something. Go bless somebody else's life. Because we found, even scientifically and psychology-wise, that when you change your focus, right? So now I'm no longer focusing on, I want to end this. I'm focusing on, how can I help you, right? Those feelings subside 9 times out of 10. You know what I mean? And so that when that call comes back in, like, hey man, are you good? What happened? He's like, no. And then you're like, no, just let's go grab coffee. You know what I mean? But it's just those 2 sentences, and it's that easy. And it's just, when you take it, now you're part of a community and a family again, right? Because the one thing that we lose when we leave is identity. You know what I mean? And that identity, I think sometimes we hold on to it too tightly. And we have to realize that identity grows and identity changes with your experiences and with where you are, right? And I did agree with Boone in one area too. Another area too is where, when you leave the military, you're never going to be a civilian again, because the whole purpose of the definition of civilian is someone who never served, right? A veteran is someone who served their military for their country, right? and that's all there is to it, right? But there's nothing wrong with being a veteran in the civilian community, right? You can be in both, right? You can't be a civilian, but you can be a veteran in the civilian community because you have positive things to bring to that, and they have positive things that we need as well. You know what I mean? So if you haven't taken the Spartan Pledge, take the Spartan Pledge. If you've taken the Spartan Pledge, reach out to somebody else and get them to take it.
Well said. Very well said. Very, very well said. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with Malachias Gaskin. Give me a sec. I could give it an effort at least. Or I was gonna fuck it up anyway, man. But good effort. I appreciate it. Where can people find your music, and what else do you have to recommend for people that want to be musicians?
So my music's on every streaming and download site. It's on all of them. It's on Pandora. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. It's on Apple. It's on Tubi. It's on everything, right? It's on YouTube. All of it. So just Malachis. Right now, I think my avatar on every single one of them is a pair of hands holding a heart that's on fire. It says fire on the inside, which is the name of my partnership that I've created. And then you can find them on all of those things. And I would say that if you're interested in getting into music, find yourself a local record store, find yourself a local music store, go to Guitar Center, go to Sweetwater, go to wherever gives lessons, and just start taking lessons. If you live in an area where they have a Guitars for Vets, there's also an online, Guitars for Vets also does an online thing as well. I have several of my buddies that did that. But do it. Like, even here's the other thing. Make yourself a playlist. Make yourself a playlist for when you're angry that's nothing but mellow music.
Yep.
Because if you make yourself a playlist for when you're angry of angry music, you're going to stay angry.
Yep. So you don't need the 5-finger death punch anymore, folks.
Nope. That's
it is good. It's good stuff. It's good gym music. You don't need it anymore. And hey, you never know. You might find producer Joe playing his nose harmonica at the local coffee house, folks. So never know what you might find. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with my friend Malachias. I got it right. Did I
nailed
it?
I nailed it.
Yeah. What's up? Thank you so much for being a part of From the Ashes, our first show in our new studio.
Oh, wait.
2026. Super excited. Love it. So glad you could join us. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. What are you pointing at? What's the matter?
Can I throw one more thing out?
Of course. Platform.
Okay. So, all right. So last thing is veteran artists, veteran musicians, right? I have absolutely encouraged you to go to whatever streaming site you use and stream our music, right? We make pennies, absolute pennies. And it costs a lot of money to make this music. It really does. It's not cheap. But we make pennies off those streams, right? Go to iTunes and download it. Go to any of the websites that sell it where you can download the MP3s, because a lot of people, they don't buy CDs anymore. I get it. I understand it. But buy it once and then stream the hell out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you're actually really, truly going to support the artist, is to buy the music and then stream.
We will talk tomorrow. Don't you worry. After I edit the show, we're going to talk more.
All right, brother.
I got you. All right. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Really appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your Monday evening. Go Broncos. Have a great night. Love it. That was an excellent interview. Great way to start our 2026. You can barely hear you playing your nose harmonica. All right, let's real quick do Combat Carl, and let's get the heck out of here. Call it a Monday night. So for those of you that haven't seen this yet, I love this. This is one of my favorite things ever. Pentagon to cut Senator Kelly's military retirement pay. What a bunch of bullshit. Look, motherfucker, if you served honorably and you retired and you checked the block, fuck off. Leave my fucking retirement pay alone, assholes. Look, I love Pete Hegseth. I love it. I love what he's doing. That motherfucker went and got Maduro. I fucking love it. It's awesome. Fuck off. Leave that man's retirement pay alone. He served honorably. He checked the block. He's done. Leave him alone. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to From the Ashes on About Face Media. I'm super sorry about all the noise from upstairs. The ladies get a little loud. I know it's a Monday night. They're earning their dollars. They're having a good time. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Really appreciate you participating with From the Ashes on About Face Media. Really, really appreciate you being here. We're only going up from here, folks. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your Monday night. Thanks for being here. Good night.